The question John the Baptist sends to Jesus is surprising, and we can only wonder why he asked it. Was he worried about the delay in judgment? Was he feeling overwhelmed by being imprisoned, wondering if he'd got things wrong? We don't know. But his question gives Jesus an opportunity to do three things: comment on his own ministry, comment on John himself, and comment on the belief, the unbelief that they have both encountered. Jesus describes his own ministry with a list of activities, which draws from several chapters in Isaiah, namely 26, 29, 35, 42, and 61. Jesus' ministry, if it is understood correctly from Isaiah, speaks for itself. We are not told what John thought of this reply. But it does not matter. John has already played his part as written in the scriptures. He is, Jesus confirms, the awaited Elijah. His role is also temporal. His ministry marked the turning point, the last moments before the arrival of the kingdom with Jesus. This is why Jesus contrasts his greatness with the greatness of the next age. There are none greater than John in his own age. But in the age of the Messiah, the kingdom of heaven, anyone, even the least person, is greater than John. This is not a criticism of John, but one of Jesus' poetic and cryptic ways of making a deep point about the new thing which is happening around him. The huge significance of the change which Jesus himself brings needs to be grasped. His healing ministry, which includes raising the dead, points towards this new reality. This generation has been sitting right in the middle of this transition. And what have they made of it? John was austere and focused on the judgment. They thought he had a demon. Jesus was jubilant and proclaimed the peace and restoration which comes with the kingdom. They called him greedy and a drunkard. This generation is unresponsive to the times, which are changing all around them. The uniqueness of these times is seen in the prospect of judgment for those who have rejected Jesus. In the same way that even though John was the greatest of women born, but even the least of those in the new age were greater than him, so it is the case with judgment. The worst of the previous age, Sodom and Gomorrah, are surpassed in guilt in the new one. They have experienced what those in the previous time have not. They have had Jesus amongst them, preaching and doing the deeds prophesied by Isaiah. Their punishment will correspond to their age that they have lived in. But there is something deeper at work. Jesus is in amongst them all, travelling through each of their cities, preaching and doing good deeds, but understanding them requires revelation from the Father. He has hidden them from the wise, but given them to the infants. This is reminiscent of the first and third Beatitudes in chapter 5. The fact is that the Father is unknowable unless the Son reveals him, and the Son is likewise unknowable unless the Father reveals him. Even John the Baptist seemed unsure. Knowledge of Jesus is an extraordinary gift and must come from God. Yet at the same time, Jesus makes his appeal to all. Come to me. Again echoing the humility and poverty described in the Beatitudes, those who are weary are invited to come to him and receive rest. Jesus describes himself in language reminiscent of Moses, and the term yoke refers to the law. This is more evidence of the new age of the kingdom which Jesus has brought, a new law and promised rest.